I was born in East Moline, Illinois, and basically a war baby, and I was born in '46. My mother was pregnant. My father was in Texas at an Air Force base. He was a navigator teaching young pilots. He was an old man. He was 26 at the start of the war, so he didn't serve. You know, he was basically training and doing things because he had a family. I don't remember Illinois that well, but I was staying there with my grandfather, who I'm named in honor of, Dr. Jack Brigham, who was a Presbyterian minister. I remember East High because our family moved here so I would go to East High. And so it was always this legend, this high school. My older sister started high school here. And so as I was trying to understand, I'd come on the weekends and shoot baskets. And there was an older person that would play with us and taught us how to throw footballs and how to hit a baseball and shoot baskets. We just knew him as Johnny, and of course it was Johnny Callison who became the National League Player of the Year, I think, in '58. But regardless, it's that type of spirit. I mean, East High was open. We would come, we would do things, and so when I came in as a freshman, it was something that I'd been looking forward to. It's the old gym. I guess they probably a girls' gym or something now. They would have it as for other uses. But to give you an idea of how small it was, when you would shoot a basket on a layup, you would put your arm out because you would hit a pad and you'd hit the wall. And so if you didn't put your arm up, you're going to hit hard against a wall and perhaps get knocked down. My first day at UCSB when I was playing froshball, my very first layup, I go up, I lay the ball up, put my arm out, fall flat on my face in front of all the other athletes, and everybody's laughing. And the coach, Barkey, said, hey, he said, he came from East High, he said, believe it or not, in that gymnasium, you put your arm up because you hit the wall about 2 steps after you're out of bounds. And so he understood, he knew the gym, and he knew our history.
When he went to BC, he was a professor of history. And the thing I remember about Jack, his very first year at BC, he was nominated as the Teacher of the Year his first year, as an outstanding teacher for all those kids up there. So, you know, he could relate to younger kids, to college kids, but the thing that I found about Jack is, you know, he would make a difference. He just had such a heart. Jack's just the type of guy that he is there for you. Anytime you need anything, all you have to do is call him. The kids out at East Bakersfield, at Arvin, for example, for We the People. Anytime that they needed somebody to help, and he would work with East as well, but he would go out there and he would take Dolores Huerta, he would take himself, he would spend hours out there, even when he wasn't feeling very good. So he's the type of guy that, you know, he felt it was important to make a commitment to kids. So he's the type of friend that you want to have.
And when I went to UCSB, I've got to be honest, I was quite a lazy student because I didn't feel I was learning much new. I felt like every class I took, I was basically relearning, or I was just hearing the type of things I'd already learned. And so I realized at that time how outstanding education I'd received. I didn't see myself as a great basketball player, and so my sophomore year, Ralph Cravey made me practice with the varsity, and he said, you're going to start for me next year. I was all of maybe 6 feet tall, and I didn't see myself as a super athlete, but he said, you're smart, you've got good hops, you know, and quick hands, those type of things. And so I realized that I would have fun playing basketball, but I was too short to really go on and, you know, to go after a scholarship. I was offered a scholarship, I think, at the University of Pacific or something, but I didn't need the money. I didn't have a reason to have to go or to play. And so the reason I picked UCSB, my favorite girlfriend at AB had planned to go to UCSB. And so my sister had been at Berkeley, and she said, don't come there because of the free speech movement and a lot of stuff going on. So it was really between UCLA and UCSB. And so I just said, well, she'll be there next year, and so I might as well just go there. And she didn't get in, ended up in San Jose State area, you know, and it was kind of humorous. I graduated UCSB, I was 4F, I'd torn up my shoulder, and so I wasn't eligible to actually serve in Vietnam or to be in the military. So I was blessed in that I didn't have that threat, you know, where your whole life may be taken away from you. And so my mother said, you know, you'd make a good teacher. Why don't you consider just maybe teaching for a year to see if you enjoy it?
Good friendship. I love his morals, I love his values. He's always open to all students. He would invite us to his house. I mean, 20, 30, 40, 50 of us for Thanksgiving, for those who were stragglers and staying in Bakersfield or who didn't have family here. And he's always been that kind of guy. He's always been involved in community, and he invited me to Sacramento several times, you know, to go up there to see how the state legislature is run. I, you know, was with them when Dean Flores was running for office the first time. I think it was in '98. And so he got us to meet important key leaders in the community, including the mayor, you know, Milton Younger, Dolores Huerta, and people of that caliber, John Hefner, and people like that. I was driving with him to Idaho to go visit with his sister Ann, and he said, you know, I respect the work that you do so much. I'm going to give you a third of my life savings, which is $100,000 for your humanitarian work. And at that time, I hadn't told him we had a surprise for him, that we wanted to build a health center for him. When I told him that, he added another $50,000. So he gave me half of his life savings for something he didn't even know I was going to build for him. But that's the kind of person he is.
It's when people want to honor you, but that's not why I do things. And so when I heard that, I said, well, you know, this really is very special, and I'm honored. And I haven't really done a lot with the EB community other than students and former students and that side, but in terms of the campus itself, I hadn't done that much. And so the first thought was, well, yeah, I mean, this would be kind of nice. And then when I read the list, I realized that 45 members of the Hall of Fame are actually close friends. List of who's actually been incorporated. I said, you know, this is not a standard Hall of Fame where it's just people that were great athletes or, you know, kind of money involvement. It's like, well, they donate money and therefore we give an award or something. And I said, it's really a cross-section of wonderful people.